Look, I've been very critical about Dragon's Rising ever since season 1. That's not to say I hate the series, I just think a concept and ideas could be expanded on and done better. One of my biggest complaints with Dragon's Rising has been an ongoing problem ever since the very first season of the show. And you had the title, Dragon's Rising has a character problem, and I mean it. The show introduces us to way too many characters, way too quickly without giving most of them the proper space they need to grow or be explored more deeply. We're talking new protagonists, returning main characters, villains, and a plethora of side characters and allies who show up for an episode or two and then go away for the rest of the season. When you have dozens of characters competing for screen time, you lose the aspects that made the earlier seasons of the show so compelling. This has been bugging me ever since the first season, and I really think it's a big problem within the show, so let's talk about it. So back when Dragon's Rising was revealed to us, it was made clear to us that there would be new characters added to the show. Our main new cast consists of Eren, Sora, and Wildfire, while also bringing back the original team with the exception of Jay. These characters are and will always be our most important new characters in the series. They're our new characters that we know the most about and will continue to learn more about as the series progresses. Now, these three I don't have a problem with. They've been here since the first part of season 1, and we already knew that we were going to get at least 3 main new ninja in the first season. Would I like to see Wildfire develop more and have more to her overall character? Yes, of course, but her development right now isn't something I'm worried about. Eren and Sora have both had their arcs, with Sora's being in the first season and Eren's arc being in seasons 2 and 3. Our 6 main ninja aren't always present in every season, but again, we were told that when the show was first announced to us. Our first season of Dragon's Rising already has 8 characters in our main protagonist team. Now for the villains in season 1, we're introduced to Roz, Beatrix, Raptin, Dr. Leroux, Jordana, Dorama. Yeah, you get the point. That's 6 brand new villains added to our roster. And while a variety of villains can be exciting, it's only effective if these villains are actually compelling. Look, I said in my Hermie video that Ninjaga's villains are some of the main reasons a season's compelling, but out of this list of villains, Roz is the only one who actually works. Yeah, I'm serious. Roz feels like the only one who carries the weight of being an actual villain. And while he isn't my favorite villain or even character, he's the only one who feels like he's actually being developed. All of the other villains either feel underdeveloped, forgettable, or just unnecessary. Beatrix is supposed to be a threat, yet she doesn't feel like one. Raptin and Dorama are more comic relief villains than credible threats, and Dr. Leroux and Jordana show up and don't do much. If Dragon's Rising is gonna add this many villains in the show in our first season, at least make them good and compelling. Make them memorable. Give them depth that makes me actually care about these villains. Then there's your side characters. Euphrasia, Ericor, Geo, the Finders, the list goes on. There are so many side characters, and these characters often appear for a single episode, or maybe even 2 if you're lucky. They assist the ninja, and then vanish for the rest of the season. Ericor keeps appearing in each season, but never really does anything that makes me want to care about him or his character. Geo and the Finders appear more often when Cole's around, and Bonzo was relevant in season 2 part 1, but other than that, Geo and the rest don't really matter unless they're absolutely needed. Dragon's Rising season 2 introduces us to even more new characters. Egold and Round 2 are brand new mentors for the ninja, and they're pretty good. They're important. I think having another form of mentors for the ninja is good, especially since Wu's gone. Candelaria is fine. I don't have an opinion on her, at all. Part 2, we get introduced to 2 characters that we see in the show going forward. Our first one being Roby, who is our love interest for Wildfire, and the games master for the tournament. And our brand new addition not only to the season, but to our main ninja team, Frack. I enjoy Frack and his overall character, but I don't think it helped the timing of him joining the team. He joined after Eren left with Roz, and it kind of makes his dynamic with the team a bit weird because he doesn't really know what he's doing, he has no idea who these people are. He does have the potential to be a better developed character. We don't know much about his past, and him being a snake not only in Ninjago City, but also on the team now, so that could make for some pretty cool storytelling. I think right now they need to do more with him if he wants to be a good main character on the team. Also, not to mention all the new elemental masters that we got during the tournaments, which don't necessarily matter because we don't see them, but they're characters, so we'll count them anyways. Blecht is the first villain I want to talk about because I don't care about him. The big one this season is Cinder. Cinder was introduced to us in part 1, and I think he's done really well there. He's a cool concept, and having another elemental master of smoke is really cool, and I hope they do more of that, but that's all there is about him because he doesn't really do much later in the show. His most prominent role is in part 1, and while he is a threat, he's the only one who knows Shadow Spin besides Jay in part 2. He doesn't do much during the tournament. Like in part 1, the ninja are scrambling trying to learn Rising Dragon technique so they can actually go against this guy and this brand new technique, and during the tournament he just doesn't feel like a threat. I don't think the ninja are even intimidated by him anymore. Overall, he's a good character, but give me more from him. I get he's like a side villain like below Roz, but you made a big deal out of him, so do more with him. Now finally, season 3. First, Pixel's back and they refuse to do anything good with her character. What's the point of bringing her back when you're gonna do nothing with her? It's just a waste of space. You brought her back. Do something with her. Don't just sideline her. You already did that in the 11-minute era. I think the best new character in the season is Lee, and he has stuff to do. Not only that, but they made him interesting and compelling. I enjoyed Lee in part 2. I really did. I thought he was fun. He's got personality and he fits into the story just fine. He brings something to the table unlike everyone else. And for your villains, you have the Forbidden Five and Thunderfang, which they hyped up way too much only for them to turn out to be nothing and boring and just plain out useless. I didn't talk about Noct in season 2 because I wanted to talk about the Forbidden Five as a whole here. They're introduced with all this ominous buildup, like they're gonna be important, but then we get nothing. Zark gets his ass rocked by Pixel, and you're telling me these characters are hyped up to be our big bad? They sure don't act like it. Noct is obviously the best one, and he does the most, not only in season 3, but in season 2 as well. And Thunderfang is equally as disappointing. No real development goes into him, and no memorable moments really. And while I don't hate Thunderfang, he's just another overhyped addition to a roster that's already stacked with a bunch of forgettable villains. Okay, I think I've made my point. There are so many characters that have been introduced to us in just the span of 3 seasons, and I haven't even named them all. And I wouldn't have that much of a problem with it if these characters actually had something that made me care about them. We've so far had 15 antagonists, 11 protagonists, and way too many side characters that either don't get the screen time or just don't matter. In the first season of the original run of the show, that's season 1, Rise of the Snakes, we had one main antagonist, that being Pythor. And if you really want to get into it, you can count Scales and Garmadon. That's a total of 3 villains. Dragons Rising season 1 gave us 6 all at the same time. It's overwhelming when you have to learn about these characters, where they're from, why they matter, when half the time it's just unnecessary. But I believe Dragons Rising can fix this, because this is a problem that can be fixed. I have 3 ideas of how to make this better. Number 1, focus on the core team that we have now. Now that's not to say that we should eliminate everyone else in the series, but shift the focus to our main cast that we're following for the majority of the seasons. Give them meaningful arcs and more development. I'm looking at you, Frack and Wildfire. In fact, you could do so much with Frack. Frack, as of right now, is kind of crushing on Sora. It's very obvious. Now, it's way too early to tell what they're going to do with this, but maybe you could do something with rejection for Frack. He's already rejected using the wolf mask, and because of that, he gets rejected by Raz and left in the dust. So maybe you could do something with Sora rejecting Frack. And also, if you really want to go deep with Frack, you could go into his past or something like that. Now, do I think they're going to do that? I have no idea. But I think it would make for some pretty interesting storytelling for Frack, because as of right now, he doesn't have much going for him, and as much as I love the guy, they gotta do something if they want to keep continuing having him around. Number 2, reduce the number of villains in each season. Dragons Rising already has a huge antagonist roster, and it's very unnecessary. 1 or 2 strong villains are way more effective than 6 forgettable ones. And honestly, less is more in this scenario. A lot of the villains don't feel like they actually carry the weight of being villains. So to fix that, just make them feel like threats, not just obstacles that the ninja need to overcome. Having too many antagonists in a single season just diminishes the impact of each one, so having a more focused roster of villains would allow for much better storytelling. I really think if we reduce the roster of our antagonists going forward, I think it would make way more room for actually exploring these villains and giving them more depth to make them interesting. And finally, number 3, use side characters more strategically. Introduce side characters only when they serve a purpose, whether it be for world building or moving the story forward or just anything else. Avoid one-off characters unless they're absolutely necessary for the story and if you're going to make them actually memorable. If a character is going to appear for just one episode, they need to leave a lasting impression. Side characters can be great assets to a show, and we already have so many side characters who have so much potential, so instead of just adding new characters, just reuse and develop existing side characters instead. That way, all the characters have served a purpose, and by the time that the show has ended, they've actually contributed something to the story. But those are just suggestions. Are they going to do those 3 things? No, probably not. I doubt it. But I really think that the writers should focus a lot more on the characters that we have instead of bringing in new ones. There is so much potential in the existing cast of characters who deserve way more screen time than they already have. And for the villains, I think they should just reduce the number per season. I'm not lying when I say Dragons Rising has a character problem. I genuinely believe that there are way too many characters in this show. I want to be invested in these characters. I want to follow them and understand them more, but when we have new faces that are constantly being added, I find it hard to do that. And that's not to say that we should get rid of all these characters. I just think if they prioritize better, the show will become more enjoyable. But that's it for me today. I'll stop ranting and complaining about the show. I think I've done that way too much in this video. I know it might look like I don't like Dragons Rising, but I do like it. I think it has flaws, but I also think there's a lot of good to it. But that's it for this video. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. That's your place to discuss. And if you did end up enjoying this video, feel free to leave a like. That'd be greatly appreciated. And subscribe if you're new, but you don't have to if you don't want to. As always, thanks again for all the support on the channel, and thanks again for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.